I'm Lorri Silvera, and I work with driven women, and I help them get clear on what they want so they can live a life they love. And I'm so excited to be here with you today because we are women on a mission, you and I both, and I just love connecting with other women who want to build others up. And so it's a real pleasure to be with you, and I just thank you for the opportunity to join you today.
Oh, no problem whatsoever. It's great to have you here. So that's an amazing business. I think it's fantastic. And I love that you really want to work with driven women. So what's your why behind that? Why are you on this entrepreneurial journey?
Sure. Well, for many years of my life, I lived according to other people's expectations. And I've always been very driven, I've always been very ambitious, and I realized through a series of some really hard things, my mother-in-law had open heart surgery, and then 10 days later she had a stroke, and shortly after that I suffered a miscarriage, and my greatest desire is to be a mom right now, and it hasn't been fulfilled yet, but I believe it will be.
It will be?
Yes.
Definitely.
And I just realized that through all of that, I was living my life based on what other people wanted and how they wanted me to be, and I just realized that I wasn't happy. And I liked what I did, but I wasn't internally fulfilled. And I realized that I needed a change, and I believe that there are a lot of other driven women out there who are probably maybe happy or maybe not happy doing what they're doing, but just not feeling that sense of purpose and fulfillment. And I think that is the key. Is I like to say live from the heart. And I think that when you can get in touch with what's in here, that's where you find your fulfillment and your purpose and your passion. And as everyone says, you don't have to work if you love what you do, right? So I think that's where that comes from, is living from the heart.
I really love that you say living from the heart, because that is very easy to say, but it's very difficult to do. And I really think that there's quite a few people out there that will really resonate with the being happy. I've got like a great life, I've got a great job, I've got a great husband, I've got a nice house, but really, you sink half a bottle of wine every night because in your heart, you're not solely happy. So I think that's fantastic that you're really working with those driven women and really helping, tease what's in their heart out, and then helping them have the confidence to go for that. That's fantastic.
Well, and I'll tell you that I think driven women in particular, I think that we tend to sometimes be a little kind of cerebral, right? We're kind of in our head a lot, which our brain is great at doing a lot of things for us, but helping us and teaching us how to really engage our passion, our brain doesn't really do that. It's sort of like survival, don't do that, it's risky, stay safe, right? So there's a whole process, I think, to really not only just knowing what's in your heart, but then walking that out and living it out. That's different than just trying to plan and analyze. And I'm a very analytical person, and so it's not easy for me sometimes to get here. But when I get here, I feel so much more fulfilled than when I'm here.
And that's amazing. And I think like a lot of your clients resonate with that because you have been there. And I know myself, if I'm not achieving this, or I'm not getting a medal at a race, or I'm not getting a certificate, or I'm not being the best, then I'm not succeeding. But really, sometimes in my heart, it's just, I don't want to go for a run, I want to walk along the beach and pick up shells. But if I'm not hitting my target, of my kilometres per week running, then I'm not succeeding. So I think it's fantastic, I really do. So moving into the entrepreneurial world and your journey, what's been your biggest fear?
I think my greatest fear is that I'm not enough. And I think as women, we can really resonate with this, right? Which is we have to be everything to everyone. I have to be a great wife. I have to be a great employee. I have to be a great boss. I have to be the best. I have to run my kilometers. I have to, we have this checklist of all these things that we have to constantly be doing. And at the end of the day, is that really what you want? Right? And I think that's when we realize, oh gosh, I've done all these things, and that's not really what I'm about. And so, it's just this it's this working through this process of realizing that I'm great the way I am, and I don't have to push or strive or, scratch and claw to, be wherever. I'm great the way I am. God made me the way I am, and He's pleased with me, and it's okay.
And so should you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's okay if I'm not this or that or whatever.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. And there is so many people out there watching this that will will be nodding. I call it nodding dogs in my sales course. Like, yeah, totally understand. So the entrepreneurial journey is always a bit of a financial one as well.
Sure.
So being Money Penny TV, I always like to ask, how has your money story transformed?
Well, I think about money in a completely different way now.
Yeah.
And, I think that we always have to go back to, sometimes we have to go back to our mindset work when it comes to money, because it's really easy to slip back into old patterns, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can't afford that, or I can't do this, right? So we always have to go back to our mindset work when it comes to money. But basically, I grew up in a home where my parents never talked about money really. And we had our financial struggles when I was growing up, and we were actually really poor for a while, and it was embarrassing and it wasn't very fun. And that was after my parents had been very successful in business. We moved to my dad, rebuilt his business. And that was kind of a cool story because he was asked to do some things that were not legal, and he said no. And so he was very courageous and did the right thing, even though it was hard for us as a family. And so I had that great example of integrity and courage. But money was, we didn't talk about money, but there was kind of this feeling of sort of like secrecy, or we didn't really know what was going on. And I think that's probably just because we were struggling financially, and you don't want people to know that you're having to, your life isn't great and your finances aren't working out well for you at that time. So, I think that I've come a very long way. I always, there's always room for improvement.
Yeah.
But I think that I think about money differently. I think about finances differently. I think about, I don't think about money the same way, like, oh, I can't afford that. Now I think, well, when thus and such, I will do this, right? So like, we were flying here, and we didn't fly economy, we flew economy plus, which was really good. We had some extra leg room. And as I was sitting there and I wasn't able to sleep on the flight, and I was feeling a little frustrated, I thought, well, very soon I will be flying first class, and I'll be able to sleep on the flight the next time I fly a long distance. So I think that there's been a great mindset shift there for me. In terms of not being so pessimistic, but just being a lot more optimistic, open, and moving forward.
Amazing. Oh, great. Yeah. So, what would be your top tip for entrepreneurs out there, either if they're starting their journey or they already are entrepreneurs? What's your top tip for them?
My top tip is to get into activity.
Yeah.
Right? So for a long time, I kind of just sat around and waited for things to happen.
Magically, no clients come into your life if you don't get out there, right?
Right. Waiting for someone to see that I was doing X. Waiting for someone to recognize Y, right? And that's not life. Like, life is what you make of it. So get into activity, and then just market the heck out of yourself. You have to be a good self-promoter and self-marketer, and not in a way that's like, I walk up to you and I meet you the first time and I'm just going to vomit all over you.
Yeah.
Here's my business card, and not like that, but to get into activity and then market yourself in a relational way that connects with people.
Brilliant. Yeah, and I think we all can resonate with that. There's nothing worse than someone who sort of like rams it down your throat what they do, but it's really nice to understand what people do.
Of course,
there's a total difference between that. And then there's also and part of my sales course, I talk to my clients about knowing that you need to market yourself consistently.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with telling people what you do.
No, you should.
But there is a way to do that. So yeah, that's really lovely to hear. Yeah. So the last question I always ask on Money Penny TV is, what impact do you want to have on the world?
I want to change the world. Ever since I was 14, I have wanted to change the world. And I don't, it's just one of those things that I feel like God put it in my heart and it's there. I don't know why. I don't know how. I just know that I'm here for a purpose and I'm here for a reason, and I just really want to help people. I want people to enjoy life. I don't want them to feel burdened by life. I want them to find that their own sense of purpose and calling, and to live that out the way that they were destined to.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, thank you very much for being on the couch today on Money Penny TV.
Thank you.
It was really lovely to hear your story and your why. And we can't wait to see this one change the world. Amazing.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap. As you know, the best conversations happen over at pennycommons.com. And once you get there, make sure that you subscribe to our mailing list. You'll get an amazing freebie at the moment, which is all about handling objections when you get them on calls, so that you can convert these potential calls into clients and bring more money into your business. You'll also get inside tips and special communications from myself before anyone else will, so that you can live the life that you love. You can make money and impact in the world and really live the life that you truly desire. So thank you for watching Money Penny TV, and I'll catch you next time.